I remember the silence the night before we confirmed the date. Not the uncomfortable kind. The honest kind. The kind that forces you to look at your own reflection without distractions. I had loved before. I had been hurt before. I had hurt someone before. Love, when you're young, feels like fire. It's intense. It's fast. It consumes everything around it. But real love feels like steady hands. It feels like someone standing next to you when you don't feel strong. It feels like choosing patience when your ego wants to win. It feels like saying, I'm sorry, even when you're not entirely wrong, because protecting the connection matters more than protecting your pride. When I fixed my wedding date, I wasn't thinking about the wedding. I was thinking about the mornings after arguments. The days when money might be tight. The moments when one of us feels lost. The nights when exhaustion replaces romance. And I asked myself, will I stay gentle then? Because that's the real test. Love isn't proven in perfect moments. It's proven when things are messy and you stay anyway. When I fixed my wedding date, I realized something most people don't say out loud. Love feels powerful, but commitment is what makes it real. Love is the spark, the warmth, the connection that makes you feel alive when someone walks into the room. But commitment is the quiet decision you make when the spark isn't blazing and the warmth feels ordinary. It's the choice to stay steady when emotions fluctuate. It's understanding that feelings are visitors. They rise, they peak, they soften. But commitment is the foundation that doesn't move. The world teaches us to chase feelings. Movies show us passion, intensity, dramatic reunions in the rain. But real love isn't dramatic, it's consistent. It's waking up on a random Tuesday and choosing the same person you chose yesterday. It's understanding that marriage isn't about securing happiness, it's about building it together. When I chose a date, I wasn't choosing a celebration. I was choosing to become accountable for someone else's heart. That's not light. That's not casual. That's sacred. Commitment means you stop asking, what am I getting? And start asking, what am I giving? It shifts you from consumer to protector, from seeker to builder. You stop measuring love by how good it makes you feel in the moment and start measuring it by how safe the other person feels with you. Safety is underrated. People think love is excitement. But safety, emotional safety, that's what allows love to grow roots. Knowing that your partner can tell you the truth without fear. Knowing you can admit weakness without being shamed. Knowing arguments won't turn into threats of leaving. When you fix a wedding date, you're not promising perfection. You're promising presence. And presence is everything. The truth about love is that it will test you. It will expose your insecurities, your ego, your impatience. You will see parts of yourself you didn't know were there. Marriage is a mirror. Doesn't just show you your good side. It shows you your pride when you want to win an argument. It shows your fear when you feel misunderstood. It shows your selfishness when you don't want to compromise. And commitment means you don't run when you see those reflections. You stay. You grow. You soften. That's maturity. That's strength. Anyone can love when it's easy. It takes depth to love when it's complicated. I've learned that commitment isn't about control. It's about stability. It's not about owning someone. It's about standing beside them. You don't fix a wedding date to trap someone. You fix it to build something together intentionally. And intentional love is rare. It requires conversations most people avoid. Finances, boundaries, family dynamics, fears about the future. You don't just say, I love you. You ask, how do we handle conflict? How do we protect each other's dignity? How do we grow without growing apart? These aren't romantic questions, but they are necessary ones. There's a difference between attraction and alignment. Attraction can be instant. Alignment takes work. Attraction is chemistry. Alignment is character. When I chose my wedding date, I wasn't just asking if we had chemistry. I was asking if our values could stand the weight of time. Do we both respect loyalty? Do we both believe in honesty, even when it's uncomfortable? Do we both understand that forgiveness is part of the journey? Love without shared values becomes fragile. Commitment built on shared principles becomes resilient. People are afraid of commitment because they think it removes options. But real commitment removes confusion. It creates clarity. You know who you're budding with. You know who you're coming home to. And in a world full of noise and distractions, that clarity becomes peace. You're not scanning the horizon for something better. You're watering what you already chose. That's where growth happens, not in constant comparison, but in consistent care. Commitment also means understanding that love evolves. The version of you that falls in love isn't the same version that will be married 10 years later. You will both change. Your interests may shift. Your dreams may expand. Your bodies will age. Life will test you in ways you can't predict. Commitment says, I'm willing to rediscover you as you grow. It says, I won't hold you hostage to who you were when we met. That's deep love, allowing someone to evolve without feeling threatened. There will be seasons where love feels effortless, and there will be seasons where it feels like work. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's real. Gardens don't bloom every day of the year, but if you tend to them consistently, they survive winter. Commitment is tending the garden when it's cold. It's showing up even when you're tired. It's choosing conversation instead of silence. It's choosing understanding instead of assumption. Instead of me. I believe commitment is one of the purest forms of courage, because you are stepping into uncertainty with someone and saying, we will figure it out. You don't have guarantees. You have trust. And trust isn't blind. It's built through small, consistent actions, through keeping promises, through honesty, through respect during disagreements, through loyalty when no one is watching. Loyalty isn't just about not cheating. It's about protecting your partner's reputation when they're not in the room. It's about speaking of them with honor. It's about guarding the intimacy of your relationship. When I fixed my wedding date, I felt something unexpected calm, not excitement, not fear, calm. Because I wasn't rushing, I wasn't pressured. I was ready to commit not just to her, but to becoming the kind of man who could sustain a marriage. Commitment forces you to level up. You can't stay immature and expect a mature relationship. You can't stay defensive and expect open communication. You can't stay selfish and expect deep intimacy. Love invites you to grow. Commitment requires it. And here's the hardest truth. Commitment doesn't mean you'll never struggle. It means you won't quit easily. When conflict arises, you lean in instead of pulling away. You ask, what are we missing? Who's to blame? You learn the art of repair, apologizing sincerely, listening without interrupting, validating feelings even when you see things differently. That's how love deepens, not by avoiding conflict, but by navigating it with respect. Commitment is also about gratitude, never getting so comfortable that you stop appreciating the person beside you. Familiarity can breed carelessness if you're not mindful. You must continue noticing them, their efforts, their growth, their quiet sacrifices. Say thank you. Say I see you. Say I'm proud of you. These small affirmations protect love from erosion. Fixing a wedding date is easy. Living the promise behind it is the real journey. It's daily, sometimes hourly. It's in the tone you use when you're stressed. It's in the patience you offer when they're overwhelmed. It's in the choice to prioritize connection over ego. The truth about love and commitment is simple, but not easy. It's less about how strongly you feel and more about how consistently you show up. I didn't fix my wedding date because I was certain life would be perfect. I fixed it because I was certain she was worth building with, and building takes time, effort, intention. It takes humility, admitting when you're wrong. It takes strength, staying when things feel heavy. It takes wisdom, understanding that love isn't about being completed by someone else. It's about walking beside someone as two whole people choosing unity. In the end, commit is not a restriction, it's a devotion. It's saying, out of all the paths I could take, I choose this one with you. And that choice, repeated day after day, becomes something powerful, something steady, something that doesn't need to shout to be strong. It simply stands, quiet, unshaken. When I fixed my wedding date, I wasn't just thinking about love. I was thinking about healing, because no one walks into marriage untouched. We all carry something, old heartbreak, disappointments, moments where trust was broken, times we weren't chosen, times we chose wrong. Love doesn't erase those things, it reveals them. And healing is not something that happens once. It's something you practice. I had to be honest with myself before I could be honest with her. I had to ask, am I bringing scars into this relationship and expecting her to pay for wounds she didn't create? That's one of the quiet dangers in love. When you've been hurt before, your reflex is protection. You guard your heart, you hesitate, you question, you brace yourself for loss, even when there's no threat in front of you. But marriage requires vulnerability, not reckless vulnerability. Intentional vulnerability. You don't stand at the altar pretending you've never been broken. You stand there knowing you've been, and choosing to trust anyway. That's courage. Healing in a relationship doesn't mean you've solved every insecurity. It means you're aware of them. It means you don't let your past dictate your partner's future. If someone once lied to you, it doesn't mean the person you're marrying will. If someone once walked away, it doesn't mean she will. Love demands that you separate memory from reality. Forgiveness plays a deeper role than most people understand, not just forgiving others, forgiving yourself. Before I fixed my wedding date, I had to forgive myself for who I was in the past, for mistakes I made when I didn't know better, for the immaturity, for the times I let ego speak louder than empathy. You can't step into commitment while still punishing yourself for yesterday. Growth only works when you allow yourself to evolve. And then there's forgiveness within the relationship itself. You will hurt each other, not intentionally, but inevitably, you'll say something careless. You'll misunderstand tone. You'll react from stress instead of patience. The question isn't whether conflict will happen. It's how you repair after it. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's emotional maturity. It's saying, I care more about our future than this moment. It's choosing restoration over resentment. Because resentment is quiet, but it corrodes everything. If you let small grievances pile up, they turn into walls. And walls don't protect love, they isolate it. Healing also means learning how to listen without preparing your defense. Most arguments escalate because we're waiting for our turn to speak instead of trying to understand. Choosing someone daily means choosing to understand them, even when you disagree. Sometimes healing looks like patience. Maybe your partner grew up in a home where emotions weren't expressed. Maybe they struggle to communicate. Maybe you do. Healing is meeting each other with compassion instead of criticism. You don't fix someone by attacking them. You support growth by creating safety, and choosing someone daily, that's the part no one romanticizes enough. It's easy to choose someone on your wedding day. It's harder to choose them during stress, during financial pressure, during exhaustion, during misunderstandings. Daily choice means saying, I'm still here. It means when attraction feels routine, you cultivate it intentionally. You go on dates, you laugh. You talk, not just about responsibilities, but about dreams. It means when your partner is overwhelmed, you don't compete over who's more tired. You step in. You carry weight when they can't. Choosing someone daily is not grand gestures. It's small consistency. It's sending a message in the middle of the day just to say you're thinking of them. It's remembering what matters to them. It's adjusting when you realize something you do hurts them, even if you didn't mean it that way. And some days, choosing someone daily means choosing them even when your emotions are quiet. Love doesn't always feel intense. Sometimes it feels calm. Sometimes it feels ordinary. But ordinary isn't boring. Ordinary is stable. And stability is a gift. There will be seasons when one of you feels weaker. Maybe career pressure hits. Maybe family issues arise. Maybe mental health feels heavy. In those seasons, you don't withdraw affection because things aren't perfect. You lean in deeper. You become softer, not harder. That's how healing continues inside marriage. It's two imperfect people refusing to weaponize each other's flaws. I realized something important before confirming my wedding date. Love is not about finding someone flawless. It's about finding someone willing to grow with you. Someone who can say, I was wrong, without losing dignity. Someone who can hear, that hurt me, without becoming defensive. Someone who understands that partnership is teamwork, not competition. And you must offer the same. You cannot demand patience if you don't give it. You cannot demand loyalty if you don't practice it. You cannot demand understanding if you refuse to listen. Choosing someone daily is reciprocal effort. It's waking up and asking, how can I make this relationship safer today? Not perfect. Safer. Safer to speak, safer. Safer to be human. There's a quiet beauty in knowing someone chooses you freely every day. Not because they're forced. Not because they're afraid to leave, but because they want to stay. That kind of choice builds deep confidence, not ego, but security. And security strengthens love. When I fixed my wedding date, I understood something else. See, you don't just choose your partner. You choose their history, their family, their triggers, their dreams, their fears. You choose to hold all of it with care. That's sacred. Healing inside marriage isn't about erasing pain. It's about transforming it. It's about turning past wounds into empathy. It's about saying, because I know what it feels like to hurt, I will be gentle with you. In the end, love is not sustained by passion alone. It is sustained by daily choice, by forgiveness, by patience, by humility, by two people saying over and over again, I see you, I understand you, and I choose you not just today, but again tomorrow. When I fixed my wedding date, I understood something very clearly. Love can begin with emotion, but marriage survives on character. And character is revealed through loyalty, respect, and emotional maturity. Loyalty is often misunderstood. People reduce it to one thing, not cheating. But loyalty is much deeper than that. Loyalty is how you speak about your partner when they're not in the room. It's how you protect their dignity in front of others. It's refusing to let frustration turn into public humiliation. It's choosing privacy over performance. In a world that overshares everything, real loyalty is quiet. It's not loud declarations on social media. It's not proving your love to strangers. It's guarding the sacred space between two people. When you fix a wedding date, you are choosing to become someone's safe place. That means your partner should never feel like are competing with outsiders for your attention, your loyalty, or your respect. Emotional betrayal can begin long before physical betrayal ever does. It begins with secrecy, with emotional distance, with sharing intimate thoughts with someone else instead of your spouse. Loyalty means turning toward your partner, especially when life gets distracting. It means remembering that intimacy is not just physical. It's emotional transparency. It's honesty. It's making sure that no third party becomes closer to you than the person you promised forever to. Respect is the backbone of lasting love. Feelings change. Attraction evolves. But respect must remain steady. You cannot love someone deeply if you secretly look down on them. You cannot build a life with someone you belittle during arguments. Disrespect destroys connection faster than disagreement ever will. Respect shows up in tone, in timing. In patience, it shows up when you're angry and still refuse to insult. When you're hurt and still refuse to attack. When you disagree and still allow space for their perspective. Marriage is not about winning arguments. It's about protecting the bond. Emotional maturity is what allows that protection to happen. Immature love says, "You hurt me, so I will hurt you back." Mature love says, "You hurt me. Let's understand why." Emotional maturity means you regulate yourself before responding. You pause instead of reacting. You recognize when your ego is louder than your empathy. You understand that being right is not more important than being kind. When I fixed my wedding date, I asked myself a difficult question: can I stay calm when things feel intense? Because marriage will test your emotional stability, stress from work, pressure, financial strain, exhaustion, miscommunication. Life will press on you from every direction, and whatever is inside you will come out. If you carry unresolved anger, it will surface. If you carry insecurity, it will show. If you carry fear of abandonment, it will speak. Emotional maturity means taking responsibility for your own emotional growth. You cannot expect your partner to manage your reactions. You cannot demand peace while bringing chaos. It's your job to become self-aware, to say, "I'm feeling defensive right now." To say, "I need a moment before I respond." To say, "That triggered something old in me, and I'm working through it." That kind of honesty builds trust. Loyalty also means endurance. Not blind endurance of abuse, never that, but endurance through normal human imperfection. There will be seasons when romance feels quieter, seasons when responsibilities feel heavier, seasons when stress overshadows softness. Loyalty says, "I won't disappear when things are ordinary." It says, "I will stay steady even when life is not exciting." Because real love is not adrenaline, it's consistency. Respect also means honoring individuality. Marriage does not mean ownership. It does not mean control. It does not mean shrinking your partner to make yourself comfortable. You respect their dreams, their friendships, their personal growth. You celebrate their success without competition. You support their ambitions without insecurity. If your partner grows, you grow with them, not against them. Emotional maturity allows space without fear. It understands that closeness does not require control. It allows healthy boundaries. It welcomes honest conversations. It doesn't collapse under constructive criticism. When you fix a wedding date, you are committing to growth, not just together, but individually. And growth requires humility. You will be wrong sometimes. You will misunderstand. You will fail to meet expectations. Emotional maturity says, "I own that." No excuses. No shifting blame. No minimizing the other person's feelings. Just accountability. And accountability builds safety. Safety builds intimacy. Intimacy builds unshakable love. I've learned that loyalty is tested most in small moments. When someone flirts and you shut it down respectfully. When someone criticizes your partner and you defend them gently but firmly. When you feel attracted to attention, but you remember your commitment. Those small decisions protect something sacred. Respect is also about everyday kindness. It's how you speak in the morning. It's how you handle disagreements. It's whether you say, "Thank you." It's whether you listen when they speak. Familiarity can make people careless. Emotional maturity keeps you intentional. It reminds you that this person chose you, and you chose them. That choice deserves care. When I fixed my wedding date, I didn't feel overwhelmed. I felt grounded. Because I understood that loyalty, respect, and emotional maturity are not dramatic qualities. They are quiet strengths. They don't show off. They don't demand applause. They simply hold everything together. And here's something important: loyalty begins with self respect. If you don't value your own integrity, you won't protect your relationship's integrity. If you don't hold yourself accountable, you won't be dependable. Marriage is not sustained by love alone. It is sustained by two people who decide, I will speak with respect. I will regulate my emotion. I will protect what we're building. Not perfectly, but consistently. In the end, fixing my wedding date wasn't about announcing forever. It was about preparing for it. Preparing to stay steady when life shakes us. Preparing to remain respectful when tension rises. Preparing to stay loyal when distractions appear. Love is beautiful, but loyalty makes it safe. Respect makes it strong. Emotional maturity makes it last. And if you can hold those three things close, quietly, humbly, consistently, then your marriage won't need to shout to be powerful. It will simply stand firm, calm, unbreakable.